Hi, today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I'm surprised I haven't covered yet in other videos, and that is my habits when it comes to food. I've always had a love-hate relationship with food, a very complicated appetite, um, very strange list of foods that I eat. So when I was younger, I was known as always being a picky eater. I really didn't eat all that much. I had a very select list of foods that I ate, and I didn't really allow many more foods to kind of enter the picture. I would often go to restaurants and just not eat anything. What complicates this is my special interests too tend to smother my appetite. So not only do I have a very short list of foods I'll be willing to eat and I'll have an appetite for, my hunger and appetite is a priority. It isn't as much of a priority than it probably would be in other people. It's very easily downgraded, I like to say. So to some extent I still maintain a list of foods that I'll eat. I've gotten better with the restaurants. For some reason now when foods are presented nicely on a plate, like when I'm eating at a restaurant, I have a larger menu of items that I would eat. However, if I'm going for sushi or something, I still only order about 2 or 3 different kind of rolls. I'll have avocado rolls, spicy avocado rolls, green dragon rolls, shrimp sushi. So I'll have maybe like I could eat a full all-you-can-eat meal with with just those rolls. And I normally have a routine that I'm going to get 3 avocado maki rolls, 1 spicy avocado maki rolls, and I start off with 7 shrimp sushi. I always use those numbers. So even there's eccentricities even when it comes to times when people consider my appetite to be a little better, or my adventuring out and trying new foods. There's still some little idiosyncrasies there. So one of the most, as I was saying before, I have a food list. When I'm eating in, I'm saying I only have a select number of foods that I'll have an appetite for. There are some stuff. There is some items on that list that are long term, but generally I could tell if I'm really into a food. I'll eat it for a couple of weeks, and I won't stop thinking about it. But I know it's almost like my interest. When all of a sudden there's a really, really intense interest or intense craving for a certain type of food, I tend to exhaust it. I tend to eat it so much that I become sick of the flavor and never want to try it again. So there's always this redefining of the list. So foods that are on my list now. One of the major long-term foods is more of a drink. Everyone always says I used to drink like a fish, and I still do, is orange juice. I don't know why it doesn't have a label on. Orange juice is a big one. Our fridge is always stocked with large amounts of orange juice. I go through probably a liter of orange juice in about 1 or 2 days, depending on how thirsty I am. So fruit juices are a big item on my list. They always have been. I could basically drink my calories instead of eating them. So orange juice is probably the biggest one. So I probably overdose on vitamin C, which you can't really do, but still I get enough vitamin C. Apple juice is another one. It's another fruit juice. One that's been on my list for a while are macaroni and cheese, Kraft dinner, or in the States it's Kraft mac and cheese. That one's been on for quite a while. I can go through a lot of these. I've also been eating these sundaes recently. I don't eat ice cream all that much, but when I do, it's usually these sundaes. A huge one right now, I'll have it probably every day as a meal, is having a Greek salad with arugula lettuce in it. I like the taste of arugula. It's really interesting. It kind of has a little bit of a mustardy bite to it. and it tastes really, really good with Greek dressing. My salad has Greek dressing, feta cheese, and raw almonds in it, along with this lettuce. And so that salad, I always have it in the same bowl. I always put the same proportion of ingredients in. So there are routines here. Also, when I make the macaroni and cheese, I put it on a timer for 5 minutes. I use exactly 1 tablespoon of butter. I take it out of the pot because I find if you leave it in the pot, it's not firm anymore, and it becomes kind of mushy. And I'll stir it up in a certain way. When I was at school and I made craft dinner, my friends always said, "You look like a sim." Like when in the game The Sims, when they cook, they just have these patterns that, all of a sudden they'll take the bowl, mix it for a couple seconds, then it turns into a microwavable plate, and they put it in the microwave. So that kind of robotic, routine-like feel to it with how I prepare food, and it's almost like a mandatory thing that I can only prepare the food in certain ways, following certain routines and certain times of cooking. An odd one I have is a craving for very plain foods. I loved rice when I was younger. Rice, and just rice with let's say oil, oregano, paprika, onion soup mix, chicken soup mix. Yeah, so I'll have I can go through 2 cups of unprepared rice. Like I'll put 2 full cups of unprepared rice into the rice cooker, and I'll mix those ingredients, and I'll just eat that for a meal. It's just rice grains. I'll just eat those rice grains. That's another on the list that's been there for a while. Just this kind of plain foods with not so not much fancy stuff in them. Even when they're on the plate, when I have foods on the plate, I often don't like mixing them somewhat. They should all be separate, and when I eat a meal that has a couple of courses in it, I can only eat the courses one by one in a certain way and put them on my plate in a certain way. Once again, I've been very good with restaurants, and they seem to be the exception of this rule, and I've gotten basically more mature, and I've ventured out and I've learned about new foods just from being at restaurants and having a nice presentation of the food. For some reason, the food needs to look appetizing in order for me to eat it. It has to, there has to be some artistic value for me to go, yeah, I would try that. So yeah, an example of just eating raw foods is just dry spaghetti. My roommates would kill me because it would be really loud. During exams, I would just sit there, just eating raw spaghetti. I didn't want to do it at night because it really woke people up. So it's not just one strand. Sometimes I'll take like a couple and just certain brands are better than others. This one's isn't bad. Ital pasta brand, not bad. All pastas generally taste the same when you cook them, but when they're uncooked, different brands have a different taste. There are a lot more idiosyncratic relationships with food and what I find appetizing in my food habits. Like I don't like chewing these when someone's around. It's considered weird. Everyone says you get worms from it. That's like just because these things look like worms when they're cooked doesn't mean you're going to get worms from dry pasta. You better not. I mean, that would be terrible. Like you could sue the company if you get worms from their uncooked pasta. Ridiculous. So there's that. Hope you enjoyed the video. I don't normally talk with my mouth open, but I'd be interested to know the strange relationships other people on the spectrum have with food. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, thank you for watching.